just got to watch episode 1 of Daryl, Dixon, the Book of Carol. This is, of course, the brand new Walking Dead spin-off show, a Season 2 to Daryl Dixon Season 1, except this time it's a Daryl and Carol show. Essentially what the show was supposed to be before Melissa McBride, who plays Carol, kind of walked out of Season 1 a few years ago. Remember when that happened? But this is the continuation of The Walking Dead, a show that ended, but obviously did not end, because we've gotten nothing but Walking Dead shows over the last 2 years, just spin-offs upon spin-offs upon spin-offs. And I was a big fan of Daryl Dixon Season 1. I think it is a very, very solid show. Maybe the best spin-off that they've done so far. I mean, Daryl Dixon is obviously arguably the main character of The Walking Dead, especially after Rick Grimes had left the show. The show really became a Daryl show, so him leading this really feels like a continuation of the main show, despite the fact that we don't have a lot of the other characters from that, entire thing. But I thought the concept of taking us to Europe and exploring what the Walking Dead apocalypse looks like outside of what we've already seen, outside of America, what does that look like? That is an interesting question, and I think the show was fascinating. It was violent, brutal, a little bit more over the top than I like my Walking Dead to be. I like when The Walking Dead is grounded and gritty and real and dark. I don't really need them having gladiator zombie fights, but hey, it was fun. So Daryl is still in Paris, though, at the end of that season, and now Carol is trying to go from America to France to find Daryl. And we get a whole episode here that is essentially just Carol's journey of finding Daryl and trying to get her way over to Europe. How is she going to do that? Well, this entire episode is set to answer that question, and we get what felt to me like one of the most classic Walking Dead episodes I've seen in a while. This is the type of episode that we would have gotten back in Season 5, Season 6, that we just don't get a lot of in the Walking Dead storytelling. In the sense that it's Carol out in the wild, and she runs upon this dude, Ash, and she meets him, and we just experience sort of a character-centric episode where we find out what he's really done in the apocalypse, how he's surviving, and these two people coming together in a world that is so lonely and empty for this kind of common good. And Carol is one of my favorite characters in all of The Walking Dead. Melissa McBride, I think, is an absolute genius of an actress, and she has absolutely carried this character for 11 plus years now, and I absolutely love her. So to see her return in her badass self is brilliant. And her relationship with Ash in this episode, and the way that she plays kind of both sides of Carol, this sort of innocent, I'm a baker, I like to bake cookies for my children because I love everybody, I'm such a nice, innocent person. But also, the side of Carol that's like, I will rip your throat out in a moment's notice. The actual version of her. She plays both sides of that character to trick Ash so brilliantly and so smart, and how it leads up to where the episode eventually goes to that I won't spoil, I thought was really smart, and seeing Carol sort of manipulate and be the version of her character that I loved so much back in Season 5 and Season 6, yes, it's all here, it's great. This episode is just also really well made from a production point of view. The one thing that I have criticized a lot on The Walking Dead years, over the last few years, is the fact that they kind of upped the production value in a way that the show seems faker. You know what I mean? There's a grittiness to the old independent style filmmaking on The Walking Dead, the mediocre cameras, the not so refined sets, the low budgetness of it that made it feel grounded and real. And when you kind of up the budget and make everything pristine and clean and visually cinematic, it takes away from the vibe of the world. And although the Daryl Dixon show does have this problem, I still think there are more aspects of this episode that felt visually and production-wise like the old Walking Dead. I felt like Carol was in this small location, this farm location, with this dude the same way that she was back in Season 2. And by the way, the callbacks in this episode to Sophia and the farm in Season 2, brilliant. Even though this character has already gone through all of the different arcs of dealing with that and dealing with the loss of children, it's okay to rehash them. It works. But I just thought all the production here, it felt more gritty compared to older Walking Dead versus like newer Walking Dead, which feels way too big and cinematic in my opinion for a show that's supposed to be grounded and gritty and dark and brutal and just gory and real. I also love some of the zombie kills in this episode. Obviously, every Walking Dead episode has zombie kills. This one had some really creative kills, and I am very happy to see even 12 years later, after or almost 14 years since the premiere of The Walking Dead, they are still finding Greg Nicotero and his whole team there are finding creative ways to kill zombies. And it's still great. It's still satisfying. It works. Now, I don't know where this season's going. There's been a lot of hype from Norman Reedus and the cast here that this season is apparently tremendous and that the season finale is like one of the best things they've ever shot for The Walking Dead. Now, I don't know. I am not super hooked in or into the actual story that's taking place in France. My biggest interest in this new Walking Dead universe and the spin-offs is to get all of our characters back together. That's all I want to see. I want to see Daryl, Carol, Rick, Michonne, Maggie, Negan. I want to see them all come together one last time and then ride off into the sunset. That is my dream. So to be completely honest, I don't really care that much about the story that's taking place in France because I know all the characters ain't there, but I do really want to see Carol reunite with Daryl, this sort of journey. Even though it hasn't felt like it's been a lot of years, it kind of has been since we've seen these two characters interact, and they're going to come back together and fight some kind of threat in France, and then go to Spain, because I believe Season 3 is set in Spain. The universe and the world is just going to keep getting darker. The more mysteries with the zombies are going to be kind of awoken. There's just so much more they could tell in this world, and I'm so excited. I love The Walking Dead. I will never not love The Walking Dead. I am the biggest Walking Dead defender on planet Earth, and I will continue to be the biggest Walking Dead defender until the day that The Walking Dead ends. I think this show is brilliant, the universe, and I think Daryl Dixon, although Season 1 I'm a little mixed about, this was a great start to Season 2, and I'm excited to see where they go with the Book of Carol. What do you guys think of the episode so far? Let me know down below. Make sure to like this video, subscribe for more, turn on notifications. I'll see you in the next one.